I grew up down the street from a Russian Orthodox church, and one of my earliest sonic memories are the bells ringing and hearing the choir sing. It's kind of how I entertained myself as a child. I had a really traditional violin teacher, and so I didn't understand that there was music being written past Prokofiev. And then I had this really amazing experience at the Bowdoin Summer Music Festival as a high school violin student where I met composers for the first time. And I realized that you didn't have to be an old dead white guy tapped on the head by God to write music. I often receive comments from audience members saying, I hear the ocean in your music. And I thought, okay, well, let me write some works that actually have something to do with the water. And so in some ways, I would say this is one of those pieces. I was offered a commission by the American Composers Orchestra in about 2013 when I had met David Tinervia, the baritone who is singing. We realized that we both have this love of maritime literature. And so one day he gave me this book called The Endurance to read, and instantly I fell in love and I thought, this is the project we have to do. From 1914 to 1917, Ernest Shackleton, a great Antarctic explorer, took a crew to be the first people to cross the Antarctic continent by foot. The ship ended up trapped in pack ice and eventually sunk, and they were trapped in Antarctica. They fashioned a rig out of a lifeboat and made it 800 miles across some of the roughest seas in the world to a whaling station where they were able to make human contact. What's really amazing about this story is the fact that these people who should have lost their lives made it home. And despite the fact that they were trapped on ice for several years, each of the crew members meticulously kept these beautiful journal entries, commenting on interpersonal relationships, and of course, looking at a blank white canvas and your death every day. This libretto sources a lot of direct quotations from the journals. So in some ways, it's our retelling of the first person story. I think the landscape of Antarctica and the ice is a really inspirational reference point for me. I work a lot in the morphing and sculpture of sound, so melody and harmony are not primarily the focus points of my work. I started out with recordings of glaciers and hydrophones in the water and ice cracking, and really looking in depth in a scientific content spectral kind of way, and then seeing what do these sounds embody and why. When Shackleton's ship finally sank, he decided that his crew had to give up everything if they were going to survive. He threw his Bible on the ice and walked away. But before he did that, he tore out a page, and the page has the quote, "Out of whose womb came the ice."